laws making it harder, not easier, for people to vote. In some places, women could be turned away from the polls just because they're registered under their maiden name, but their driver's license has their married name. Senior citizens who've been voting for decades may suddenly be told they can no longer vote until they can come up with the right ID. In other places, folks may learn that without a document like a passport or a birth certificate, they can't register. About 60% of Americans don't have a passport. Just because you don't have the money to travel abroad doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to vote here at home. And just to be clear, I know where my birth certificate is. I haven't thought about that for a while. There has to be rules in place. But I am against requiring an ID that millions of Americans don't have. That shouldn't suddenly prevent you from exercising your right to vote. And that makes it wrong to pass laws that make it harder for any eligible citizen to vote. Especially because every citizen doesn't just have the right to vote, they have a responsibility to vote. We should not be having an argument about this. There are a lot of things we can argue about. But the right to vote. I mean, what kind of political platform is that? I mean, why would you make that a part of your agenda, preventing people from voting? How can you defend that? There are a whole bunch of folks out there who don't vote for me, didn't vote for me, don't like what I do. The idea that I would prevent them from voting and exercising their franchise makes no sense. If your strategy depends on having fewer people show up to vote, that's not a sign of strength, that's a sign of weakness. And not only is it ultimately bad politics, I believe ultimately it harms the entire country. If voting is denied to the many, we risk ending up stuck year after year with special interest policies that benefit a fortunate few, and injustice perpetuates inequality. Now remember, just as injustice perpetuates inequality, justice opens up opportunity. As infuriating as efforts to roll back hard-earned rights can be, the trajectory of our history has to give us hope. As Dr. King said, the arc of the moral universe is long, it bends towards justice. He showed that when ordinary citizens come together to participate in this democracy we love, justice will not be denied. So the single most important thing we can do to protect our right to vote is to vote. For all these laws that are being put in place, the biggest problem we have is people giving up their own power, voluntarily not participating. Sometimes I hear people say, well, we haven't gotten everything we need. You know, we still have poverty, we still have problems. Of course, these things didn't happen overnight. When I was down in Texas, everybody's celebrating the day that the civil rights law was finally passed. Remember, there were decades in which people sacrificed and worked hard. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it happens as long as we don't purposely give our power away. Every obstacle put in our path should remind us of the power we hold in our hands each time we pull that lever or fill in that oval or touch that screen. We just have to harness that power. We've got to create a national network committed to taking action. We can call it the National Action Network. So to see the progress we've made is to see my own life and the progression that's happened. You think about Brown versus Board Education, and the Civil Rights Act, and the Voting Rights Act, and the Freedom Summer. And with those anniversaries, we have new reason to remember those who made it possible for us to be here. Like the 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi, 2 white, 1 black, who were murdered 50 years ago as they tried to help their fellow citizens register to vote. James Cheney and Andrew Goodman and Michael Sherman believed so strongly that change was possible, they were willing to lay down their lives for it.